Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Great to be seen, finally. I'm so happy that you're all able to join us this morning. Well, let me introduce you myself. I'm Frank Doyle with TD Marketing Company, and this is my partner, my lovely assistant, Mike Fortunasio. Mike and I are going to come to you live every Friday for a half hour. Promise you, only a half hour, from 11:30 in the morning until 12 in the afternoon. Every month, we're going to come to you with a new concept. The month of June, what are we going to focus on this month, Mike?
Sandwich prep tables and the Coupe CL40.
All right, we're going to talk to you about your local deli.
Correct.
So, for an entire month, we're going to talk to you about everything from baking your own sub rolls to actually stuffing your own sausage. So we really thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about the Beverage sandwich prep unit, and as Mike just mentioned, we're going to discuss the Coupe food processing machine model number
R402 and CL40.
There we go. So who's Beverage, everyone? Beverage was founded in 1944 by John Buffington. John, that's actually over 76 years ago, Mike.
It is.
John's famous for inventing the first horizontal bottle cooler in the industry. Believe it or not, we actually still use those bottle coolers today. They're actually known as two different series. We have our back bar, our BB series, and our deep well bottle coolers, the DW units. In 1980, my dad, Larry Doyle, became one of the first marketing agents for Beverage in Metro New York. He was with my grandfather, Frank J. Doyle Incorporated. If you actually look at the binder, which by the way is about 40 years old, which is why we have it all with the shrink wrap around it, trying to hold it together, you'll actually see Beverage listed on the brands that they represented. What Mike's holding up is a picture of my father, Larry Doyle, and my grandfather, Frank J. Doyle, opening up their first showroom in New York City in 1967 on 7th Avenue and 20th Street. I'm so happy to tell you that Beverage has actually been in our family for over 40 years now. In 2008, Beverage was acquired by the Ali Group. The Ali Group is one of the world's largest family-owned, privately held manufacturing companies. They operate over 57 manufacturing facilities and have over 10,000 employees. What's really great about the Ali Group, Mike, is that they're family-owned, privately held. So what they really care about is their brand and their product quality. They're not worried about reporting to shareholders and hitting numbers every quarter. It's more about your experience purchasing their products. That's a great lead-in to the warranty on Beverage. So you want to start there?
Absolutely.
All right. Back in March of this year, Beverage announced a longer warranty. Today, we have one of the best warranties in the industry. It's 3 years, parts and labor, and an additional 4 years. Are you counting on your fingers?
That's 7 years.
That's 7 years, additional 4 years parts warranty on the compressor. So 3 years, parts and labor, and 7 years, parts on the compressor. I think that pretty much tells you Beverage
best
is one of the best in the industry, correct? So, in front of us this morning, we are showing you our SPE60 HC-16.
That's a lot of numbers.
I know it sounds scary, trust me, you guys, but don't be alarmed. I'm going to simplify this for everyone so that you can easily find our sandwich prep units in Auto Quotes and KCL. So, the SPE in the model number stands for Sandwich Prep Elite. The 60 in the model number stands for 60 inches wide. Mike, would you like to display that? The HC stands for hydrocarbon. Mike, hydrocarbon is the new refrigerant that's out there that recently got tested. It's R290. So whenever you see an HC in the model number, you know that our model has been converted to R290 refrigerant. And then finally, you guys, the 16 is so simple. It just stands for how many 1/6 size size pans come standard with the sandwich prep unit. In this case, it's a 16 pan sandwich unit. You'll find that most of our model numbers in our catalog follow a very similar sequence to that. So again, don't be worried about trying to remember these model numbers. They all really mean something. It's really pretty easy to find. But since we brought up that new refrigerant, Mike, maybe we should kind of talk about a statistic that Beverage came out with.
Okay.
It shows you back in the day when we were using R404A refrigerant, which was the standard, and then today using the R290, what the difference is in the emitted CO2. So a 30-pound tank of R404A is equivalent to the CO2 emitted by a year's worth of 14 cars. That's a lot of cars. Today, with a 30-pound tank of R290, Mike, it's equal to the CO2 emitted by a year's worth of a dog riding a skateboard.
Not a lot of gas.
Depending on the size of the dog, I guess. I don't know. You guys come up with your own conclusion there. But yeah, definitely not a lot of gas, but a lot of CO2 being emitted. Beverage Air has more ENERGY STAR certified units than any other commercial refrigeration manufacturer in the industry. We're so proud of that, Mike. Over 140 units are already certified, with many more coming this year. Moving on. Let's take a look at the back, discuss the airflow. Mike, I'm going to open up the doors while we're spinning it around, just so that we can get the compressor to kick on, because I think it'll show the audience a little bit more when you can actually see the airflow. So, thanks for being patient with me, everyone. I really appreciate that. So, we're looking at the back of an SPE 60-16. We open up the doors to force the compressor to come on, so you can actually see the airflow left to right. There's a misconception in the industry where a lot of customers think that the air breathes in from the front and out to the back, but it's actually not the case. We go left to right. So all the air is in the back. This 60-inch sandwich prep unit comes standard with a 1/3 horsepower Embraco compressor. Embraco is actually one of the largest manufacturer of compressors in the industry worldwide. They have over 11 manufacturing facilities in 8 countries. In North America, they're headquartered in Duluth, Georgia. I want to point out too that our sandwich prep units are available remote. So if that's what you need in your specifications, all you have to do is put that in the spec. We come standard with an 8-foot cord-in plug. Down here to your left is an epoxy-coated evaporator, and that has an automatic non-electric defrost system built into it. I'm going to now take this piece of paper and I'm going to put it on that evaporator to show you how it sucks the air in. You can see that paper stuck to the evaporator plate. Well, that's restricting air now going to the compressor, and what could happen is that compressor could overheat and cause a failure. So if I take this paper off and I put it over to the right side, you'll see that it's blowing. See that? So you can see our airflow is left to right. Now, to prevent the restriction in airflow, Beverage Air provides a 2-inch bumper, and that bumper gets installed in the field. So when doing a demonstration on Beverage Air, you have to make sure that you always inspect that to make sure that the rubber bumpers are installed so that it stays 2 inches off the back wall. My lovely assistant and I are now going to spin the unit back around. Great job, Mike. Very proud of you. Well done. We're going to start by looking at the front of the unit, and I'm going to shut this for now. So down below, you can see the full electronic temperature control with an LED display. That assures us that we're going to be able to set our temperature within the safe zone, 36 to 38 degrees. All prep tables are tested at 100-degree ambient temperature and 60% humidity. That's a big deal, Mike, because the industry standard is only 86 degrees and 30% humidity.
It's a hot kitchen.
It is a hot kitchen, and let's really, in reality, the kitchens in metropolitan cities, actually all over the country, are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and getting that heat out of those kitchens is next to impossible. A lot of times too, you'll even see these sandwich prep units directly across from a wok range, and we know how much heat and BTUs those wok ranges put out. Well, just so you know, our enhanced refrigeration system allows us to keep our lid open for 24 hours. That's a big deal in those super hot environments. Or let's say one of your employees accidentally forgets to shut the cover at the end of their service. Well, don't worry. When you come back in the morning, your product will still be between 36 and 38 degrees. All sandwich prep units come standard with 6-inch casters. However, at the time you place the order or you specify the beverage chair sandwich prep unit, you can change those 6-inch casters to either legs or smaller casters. We have standard 2-inch thick CFC and HCFC free foamed in place insulated doors and body. Doors are field reversible, and you can see here from the plastic plugs that you can flip these doors around any way you like. That's a great accessory when you're in the field and you run into some obstacles. Our doors are mounted on cartridge style hinges, and what's great about the cartridge style hinge, Mike, is that when I'm in the heat of the moment, in the middle of our lunch service, I can actually quickly go in, get what I need, and the door automatically closes. But let's say I'm loading it, it's the end of the night or the beginning of the morning, and I'm coming in, I certainly don't want this hitting my back. So we actually added a 120-degree stay open feature. Standard 2 epoxy wire shelves behind each door opening. That's standard. Most manufacturers only supply 1 shelf. We supply 2. We have stainless steel front, stainless steel sides, stainless steel top, stainless steel hood, stainless steel lid, but the back is actually standard galvanized. This, however, can be changed at the time you spec or the time you place the order to stainless steel if specified that way. It is an option in the price book. Let's talk about cutting boards, Mike. Beverage Chair supplies standard a 10-inch wide, 1/2-inch thick poly cutting board that's field reversible. See how easy that was done? We have some great options, though, for other style cutting boards. This is the composite style cutting board, which is a little bit of a harder surface and sometimes a little bit easier to clean. Some really cool things that we also offer as options are crumb catchers. And they can either be mounted on the full front of the sandwich prep unit or off to the side of the sandwich prep unit. And what a crumb catcher does is after you're done slicing all your sandwiches all day long, you take that bread and you just scoop it right into the crumb catcher. So it's not going onto the floor. So it helps you keep a much cleaner environment. Mike, before I start talking about the top section, maybe we should go into talking a little bit about how we prepped all the vegetables.
Absolutely. So this is our model Roboku R402. It is a continuous feed food processor. There are 2 options with the 402, the continuous feed head and also the 4.5 quart cutting and chopping bowl. In a vegetable prep or deli operation, the continuous feed head is probably all you need. So with this R402, it comes standard with a 2 horsepower motor. The CL40 has a 1 horsepower motor. The main difference between these 2 models are these 2 black switches in the front. The first one being a pulse switch that you would use with the bowl, and the second one is the mode selection switch to go from the continuous feed hopper to the bowl. We have 7 different slice thicknesses, but we also have the ability to slice, dice, shred, grate, and even French fries. So, we can also talk about the different types of blades that we have. There are 28 different ones. So let's start doing some prepping.
Mike, 28 blades. Wow, I'm in a small local deli. Where do I put 28 blades?
Roboku has a lot of different options as far as blade storage. There are wall blade racks in addition to countertop blade racks.
That makes it so much easier to stay organized.
So let's slice a cucumber and see how well the machine operates compared to how Frank slices one by hand.
I'm going to take.
I'll have to wait for him to catch up.
All right, I'm ready when you're ready. Let me know. All right.
Hey, Frank, I've done 2 cucumbers already.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
Are you
Everyone
serious?
is perfectly sliced.
All right, listen, I know I'm not a professional chef by any means, but I did my very best to try to keep up with Mike. And look at this, everyone.
Are those steak cucumbers?
Mine are all different sizes and shapes, and Mike's perfectly. Very consistent cut all the way around. That's amazing. You did 2 cucumbers faster than I did 1.
Absolutely. And we also, for a deli operation, you want to be able to slice all different types of products, including including tomatoes for your sandwiches. Again, everything perfectly sliced. We have the ability to also slice onions. Oh, there we go.
Oh, you need a bucket.
We've got our bucket, but that's okay because we can just scrape it right in there and go. Now the machine has, as I said, many different slicing thicknesses available, and that blade is changed very simply by lifting the head off, and you can change your blade and put a different slicing blade in.
Can we slice potatoes, you think?
Sure can. We can do French fries if you want, and also potato chips. So let's get a couple of blades in here. And we'll slice some potato chips. Ready for the fryer.
That's a perfect potato chip right there, Mike.
Yep.
Nice job.
Now, in addition to slicing different thicknesses, we can also shred. And again,
we need
just change the blade. You get a shredding blade. You can do different salad toppings. Thank you.
Just dump it. There's a garbage up front.
And you can see we have perfectly shredded carrots. The machine also has the ability to dice onions and tomatoes. So let's dice some tomatoes. I'll just change my blade.
Okay. Hey, while Mike's going to work on changing the blade out real quick, I kind of wanted to just show you a little bit of a spill that could possibly happen during your lunch period. So if the camera can get a close-up shot of this, I'd really appreciate it. This happens all the time in deli applications, actually any application whatsoever, but when you're rushing, you sometimes just throw the pans in and something could spill. In this case, we dropped a few tomatoes. What's great about Beverage Air, Mike, is that we have a heavy-duty aluminum pan liner inside of our sandwich prep units that stops that spill from going into the cavity of the refrigerator. So it eliminates me from having to unload everything inside this refrigerator, clean it, and put it all back in. And it keeps me going. Also, just so you know, we have locking divider bars. And that's so that your divider bars do not slip out of place when you're dropping the pans in. And you see how quickly I'm going? See, only with Beverage Air does that happen. So it makes a nice, easy, clean sandwich prep situation.
And now we can dice some tomatoes.
That's,
And we can also dice onions. And you can see a perfect dice on each one. Machine even has the ability to do French fries. And again, all you have to do is simply change the disc and you can do your French fries. We're actually gonna do sweet potatoes.
oh, sweet potato fries. We all enjoy sweet potato fries.
Again, you just lift out the blade, pop in your French fry blade, your French fry disc, and there are 3 different thicknesses available.
Here, Mike, why don't we put that in this pan?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Frank.
All right.
Okay, we're all set. We get some sweet potatoes. And just drop in as many you'll fit. And you're ready to go. Sweet potatoes. The Coupe model CL40 or R402 with the 4.5 quart bowl.
You can see it's such a labor-saving device, and it also takes up a whole lot less space in a small, tiny kitchen when you're doing prep work. So that's really a huge benefit. Listen, everyone, we're almost done. I know you're getting tired and you're probably done with your lunch already, but we're going to finish up with talking about the top of the sandwich prep unit to tell you a little bit about a couple of different options that are available. There's actually 3 different style tops. The first top is our standard top. That comes standard with your 10-inch wide cutting board and a specified amount of pans. In this case, it's 16 pans, and the unit is 29 inches deep. That's front to back. The next style cutting board top is called the Mega Top unit. Now, the Mega Top unit will grow the width from 29 inches to 34 inches, so keep that in mind on your specifications. What it does is it adds a third row of pans. And that third row of pans actually increases your pan capacity by 50%. The last style is your cutting board style, and that's also 34 inches front to back, but has a 17-inch wide cutting board instead of a 10-inch wide cutting board. It gives you a lot more working surface on here. The pans, just so you know, can all be reversed. So if we didn't have 16 pans going the full length of the sandwich prep unit, we could specify just 8 pans, and we can tell Beverage Air which side of the unit we want those pans on. So if we wanted a slicer or a RoboCoupe food processor to be on top of the sandwich prep unit and still have the capability of having 8 pans, you can do that. You just have to specify which side you'd like the pan opening on. So we can customize our sandwich prep units anytime we like. A couple of other options that we have are the double over shelf. Actually, Mike, we have a double over shelf. And we have a single over shelf that's also available. And these are all just options in the price book. This is for your wet ingredients, your bottles. So your oil, your vinegar, and any other types of sauces that you'd prefer to put in there. It takes the place of the pan. You just place it right there inside and it locks in place. Before I finish up here, I'd like to take off the lid and just show you how well made this insulated lid is. This is, again, it's insulated and it's not flimsy at all by any means. Also, locks are available as well when specified. So if it's an outdoor application, you may need to put locks on. Mike, before we close up, I do want to talk about the dual-sided sandwich prep unit. So by removing this lid and hood, you can actually add another cutting board and we can make this dual-sided so that actually 2 people can work on this sandwich prep unit at the same exact time. Doubles our capacity and speeds up the whole lunch process. So that's it, everyone, with Beverage Air sandwich prep units and the RoboCoupe food processing machine for today. Next week, we're going to talk about a Moffett oven, which we'll bake sub rolls in, and Mike's going to use the RoboCoupe Blixer to actually make dough in it. So if there's any questions now, please take advantage of the chat room. Thanks for joining us for lunch.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next Friday.